Hey friend, it's me Vasco with a quick announcement. We at the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast are organizing this year's Scrum Master Summit. For tickets and details on the summit, check out the URL bit.ly/SM Summit 22. All one word, SMSUMMIT 22. And now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday, the Leading Change episode this week with Daniel Lutz. Hi, Daniel. Welcome back.
Hi, Vasco.
So, Daniel, these two past episodes, Monday and Tuesday, have been a lot about teams. And maybe this episode will also be about teams. I mean, after all, you are in an environment where you've been helping teams scale Agile. There's a lot of change when that happens. But of course, I don't know. But we do want you to dive into one of those change processes that you were involved with and walk us through how it developed, like what were the steps that you followed, but also the tools, the tips, the tricks, the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
As an Agile coach in a more traditional waterfall organized company I work in, having Agile transformations is a big, huge change. This includes not only setting up more Scrum teams that need to be aligned and coordinated at some point, but this also comes with the definition of new roles, new processes, like new business processes, alignment with the portfolio management, and all those different things that the backbone of an Agile transformation that oftentimes is neglected. It's so important. Just having more Agile teams doesn't make you Agile as an organization. It's bound to fail, actually. So we wanted to scale from 4 pilot teams to 30. So we experimented. This was the first step. We identified some initiatives or projects that we wanted to shape and drive forward. We built Scrum teams for those specific projects back in the day. And so this turned out to be quite successful. So we had Scrum Masters for that certified and trained, and product owners. We trained stakeholders on this approach. Also, another tip, involve stakeholders early in how the teams are suddenly now working, because it's also a big change for them. Even though it's outside your department or outside your team, stakeholders or business or users, especially in a big company, they now need to change their processes as well, how they give feedback, and the team needs quick feedback from them, etc. So it's a lot of people who need to engage in and outside the team. This is very important. Don't underestimate the way how fast people forget things, and so you can't over communicate.
Yeah, and repeat, right?
Yeah, and repeat all the time. So what is your vision? Where are you headed? What is your goal? Where are you at the moment? Where do you want to end up? And that's not very easy. So having a good vision in place and supporting the management team by developing this vision is very important, because you need to kind of guide the organization where we want to go. It's not that you have those specific Agile teams set up and the rest will run in how they've been doing it. No, we're going somewhere. We don't know exactly how it will look, but this is the direction we're heading. And this is very important as well. So have a clear vision in place. And this is where we felt short at the beginning, because it's also political. And I'm coming from a big organization, so of course for smaller companies and smaller teams, it may not be as an issue. But you need to involve many people and the questions that people asked. This is why we set up an organizational retrospective every 2 or 3 months, and inviting middle management, so the most affected roles in the organization. Yeah, so portfolio management at that stage not so much, but the middle management and the product owners and some of the developer Scrum Masters, and having this open discussion about, okay, how do you see this? How is it running? What are you missing? Let us know. And we were collecting the questions, and we are addressing this right away in our all employee meetings, actually, which is very good. So this is another big important hint. Involve the management. Agile transformations usually fail if it's not with a top-down, at least support. So you need to build it from bottom up. But if there is no commitment from management, it's very hard to do so. So having our management on board from the early beginning was very, very helpful, because they helped us in communicating this to a broader audience. Not like, you need to do this, but in order, okay, what are your questions? What do you need for us to go this way? This was very, very powerful, because there's so many questions like, okay, how are those departments going to stay? Do we facing a new reorganization? Are we losing our jobs? Is this just an experiment? When is this going to end? I want to go back to the old days. All those questions, of course, change pain. Yeah, you need to listen to and listen carefully, because people get tired of change, and then you don't have traction anymore. This is why you need to have continuous traction and continuous pull on the change itself. Keep continuing communicating to your teams, to the organization about the next steps of your change, the successes, also the learnings, and having this organizational retrospective is a powerful tool to do that. It's very easy to facilitate and to set up. You don't need to do a lot of huge organization around it, but just invite people, get them your ear, and let them speak. This was very, very helpful.
Yeah, and it's not easy to organize an organizational retrospective. So, of course, some work, some research might be needed before organizing the first, but we can start small, right? Like we can start with, let's say, those 4 teams that you started as a pilot, and involving the managers of those 4 teams and having retro specifically with them, and then scaling that up as well to the rest of the people. Well, one aspect of the process that you defined that I want to highlight is this constant listening. Jason Little talks about co-creating change, right? Like we know how to get started with the agile transformation, but the work happens, in front of people's, and they need to make decision. And, the people who are organizing the change, like an agile transformation team, for example, may not be aware of what people are facing every day. So this co-creation by having that organizational retrospective or some other way, like Jason also talks about having lean coffee sessions on the change with the people in the organization, but having that ability to listen all the time and then transform that into concrete actions, like you said, listing the questions and addressing them in the all-hands meetings. I think that's a key aspect, a key dynamic of this idea of co-creating change, because they know, meaning the middle management and the teams, they know what they need changed, and that might not be our priorities. Right. So that's why I think it's really important to do, as you described in your process, this constant listening to the teams and the organization.
Yeah, it's super important, because also the management doesn't know all the answers. And this needs to be also clear, that it's also a change of mindset there in the expectation of towards management. Suddenly management doesn't give us all the answers anymore, but we need to give the answers all together. And it's a great dynamic, but you just need to manage it in a good way, and setting the structure to allow everyone to speak up and to communicate is a helpful vehicle to establish that.
Absolutely. And a great story and a great example of some of the very important aspects we need to take into account in the change process. Thank you for sharing that, Daniel.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey friends, it's Vasco again, now with a bit longer announcement. I'm part of the team that is behind the Global Scrum Master Summit, the conference dedicated to the Scrum Master role. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is the place to learn, to share, and of course to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from the whole globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit 22. We have several amazing keynotes and 7 tracks that feature people like you and, of course, thought leaders sharing their insights, their knowledge, and helping you become an awesome Scrum Master. You can check out all of the details of the summit, including the keynotes announced, the track chairs, and much more at bit.ly/SM Summit 22. That's all one word. That's bit.ly/SM SUMMIT and the numeral 22. I'll see you on the conference floor.